Can you guys see this? It says I'm live. Can you guys see me? My window says you can't. Okay, if you see me. This says you can't see me, but okay. I think my connection's just bad because it's like prime time at night. I don't have an Ethernet cable. I think that'll be good for the future. I think just last time I didn't stream during maybe like prime time hours. So talking about photographing strangers. Yeah, I don't know, like when I used to work at a coffee shop and I would get photographed a lot. And if you go back to like some of the first things I was ever tagged in on my Instagram, one of the first things I'm ever tagged in is a picture of my arm because someone took a picture of my arm and liked it. And then I guess 2 years later found me through YouTube and went back and tagged me in it. And I was like, yikes, not a compliment. But yeah, I mean, photographing strangers, I feel like it's something that has reward if you post it online and it's funny. Like that guy on the subway who like had a weird baby doll monkey. People were like, ha, that's crazy. But I don't know. But then there was that woman who was on a bus and she had a daughter and she was like dipping out, which is like when you take heroin, it makes you sleepy. So she was dipping out on the bus and the girl was like, mommy, please, like stop, like please, like we're gonna miss our stop. That went on social media and I think protective services like got that girl out of that situation. But that's different. That's apples and oranges. That's definitely like someone recording something that needs attention versus just like somebody in a funny hat. So I don't know. Are we live? Okay, people are saying that it's fine. Other people are saying that it is replaying a place from earlier. I hope this posts as one video. Yeah, we had a no phones camera rule at our wedding. It was beautiful to see everyone's face in the crowd looking back at us while we were getting married. I think about marriage sometimes. Like, I'm not opposed to it. And I recently had that idea as well. You're kind of like, oh, well, I want people to take as many pictures as possible because I want to see this moment from all angles. And then, like, you just see Instagram stories of people just, like, drunk at your wedding. I don't know. One thing I always notice is people will take a picture of themselves and post it and be like, I had a great time at Mary and Ben's wedding, but it's a picture of themselves. And I'm always like, but you didn't take a picture of the bride or groom. You just took a picture of yourself at their wedding. But we only want to put out the best content, and the big money shot's always a picture of you. But I don't know. I was a little like, I feel like I was really uninterested in weddings because of the industry I work in. And then I saw those pictures of my grandmother's wedding and became very interested. And there was only like 13 pictures total from her wedding. And I was thinking like, that's enough. That covers everything. It doesn't cover too much. I ended up with all the pictures from my biological parents' wedding. And it's like 10 pictures. The cake, the dress, a bunch of girls smoking cigs. That's it. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I need all the people at my wedding taking pictures on their phone. I think I would do a no phone wedding too. I think that like that's stuff I lean towards as well. Just because like I do feel disenfranchised by like Instagram stories. Like, oh, I took an Instagram story at the wedding. Just 24 hours. That's it. Not saved to the phone. I had a good time. Like, I don't know. So I'm answering questions in the chat, quasi-related to the theme, but not necessarily doesn't have to be. Will you ever make a bike video? So I've thought about making a bike video countless times because riding my bike is a huge part of my life. Sometimes I think if I post too many pictures of my bike, it may get vandalized because I do park it outside, but that's a little bit like crazier thinking or careful thinking. But the thing about how I ride my bike is I don't want to like put it on the chopping block because I know there's a lot of things wrong. Like, I don't always wear a helmet, and I want you guys to wear a helmet. And I've been hit by a car, and that makes me feel like I'm not like a great authority on biking. But then there's like stuff I know how to do on a bike. And I do offer to like work on the bikes of the girls at my salon. And I do ride my bike every day. But I don't want to give someone bad advice that like worked for me and then doesn't work for them and then they get injured or something. Like something I always do is if I am approaching a car and their right turn signal's on, and like they're at a red light, I always go to the left of them. So when the light turns green, they can turn and I can go straight. But that's not necessarily safe. And maybe not even legal. So like, but I also think it is safe because if you stay in the bike lane when they're turning right and go next to them on the right-hand side and they try to turn, either they hit you or you go past and they don't see you because they're on their phone and they kill you. But if you go to the left of them, you just cruise on by. But what I do is I go out of the bike lane to do that, so it might not necessarily be the right thing to do. But it's how I ride in an urban environment. And sometimes I do kind of ride a little recklessly. Like the other day, I rode the circle around City Hall, which has no bike lane, but is a lot of fun. So I don't know. So it's like, what's my ethics? Like, what's my ethical standpoint on like the tips and tricks I do that I don't get hit by a car, but I don't know if they're legal. You know? Like I just don't want anyone to make fun of me or make me doubt what I do by like commenting and being like, everything you do on a bike is wrong. Because then I would be like, well, everyone I've ever met has taught me how to ride my bike thus far. And I don't want to be like, Ryan was an amazing bike messenger and he taught me how to change a tire so you can go eat shit. And I cry. What are some other things that helped during your social media blackout? Other things that helped during my social media blackout, reading, I've been taking a lot of walks. I feel like I didn't put too much stress on that, but I like on my little, it sounds like I'm about to talk about my phone, but later on I looked at how many miles I had walked because I don't have like a stepper or anything. And like I'll walk home from work so I'm not on my phone and it keeps me engaged with my environment. And one thing, I live in Pennsylvania and it had rained for a couple weeks, but it was like a light rain. And then everything turned green like the next day. And I remember walking home like during dusk and just seeing everything being green and like feeling so overwhelmed. And I know this sounds fake or it sounds like an anime where the girl is like, oh, everything is so beautiful in the spring. It seems exaggerated, but when you don't have pictures of like the Grand Canyon and like a beautiful waterfall and something my friend saw hiking like all at you at once, and you can appreciate some like green ass trees on your walk home, it keeps you really grounded. So like just experiencing the things around me that I might necessarily take for granted because I'm so overexposed to the best of the best. Just like the little things. And yeah, like a super deep clean of my house for me and not for an audience of peers. Like cleaning my house the way I like it and decorating, not for Instagram, but decorating for me. We got some Indonesian food like 2 weeks ago, and we have a buddy who lives nearby, so we went to his house, and his house was decorated so cool. And it was not like a traditional like Instagram bedroom, not like super vintage, not like super modern, just like this and that and things on the wall and just things he'd collected in his life. And I was really inspired by his house. Obviously I didn't say that out loud because it's like kind of annoying to be like, oh, wow, I'm so inspired. But it's like, when was the last time you were inspired by something you actually saw? Maybe every day, maybe not. So yeah, I don't know. So yeah, a Quicken book club could be cool, but right now I'm reading Flowers in the Attic and I feel like people are like, Amanda, stop it. I went to the store to get Handmaid's Tale because I'm fucking obsessed, and they didn't have Handmaid's Tale. Well, I went to the used bookstore. I'm still that bitch. And I saw Flowers in the Attic and I was like, oh my God, like throwback. What introduced me to like reading for pleasure? Like other than like reading for summer reading requirements and shit. But Flowers in the Attic was the first book where I was like, oh, I want to read that. And then I read all of them. And all of them. And it's been so many years since I read it, so I've been rereading it. So reading books has been a thing with my like social media diet, and yeah, just being open about like if someone around me is like, did you see on my Instagram? You just say no, but like not in a bad way, and just trying to do stuff with my hands. Yesterday we laid a bunch of brick in our backyard because our backyard is just a big trash plot. It's not different than any of the like home improvement vlogs you may have seen. So we've been working on that a little bit, and I think if I was like digitally distracted, I would have no interest in that. But I'm so ready to do anything now because I'm like, I got all the time in the world. I don't know. The second you make time, like things just happen. Maybe that's just my experience, but do you find any inspiration from social media, or did you? Yeah, I do. And I hate that it can't be a positive influence on me anymore. I think 2 years ago, a ton of positive inspiration came from it as well, but it's positive and negative. And I find myself comparing myself to other people a lot instead of being inspired by them. So I think taking a step back will help me like reconfigure that and like help me mentally view things from an inspirational standpoint and not like a FOMO standpoint. But yeah. In the winter, we can do Ethan Frome. Yes, we can. I know that I heard it or I read it that PewDiePie has one of the most successful book clubs on YouTube. I thought that was pretty cool. That he does that. How do you practice not comparing yourself to others? I really don't have like a magic answer for this. It's something I'm really, really trying to work through. And how I don't compare myself to others is to cut it off at the source. And maybe that's not what like a therapist would tell you, but I also think there's a lot of false information out there, or information that works for somebody, but it's presented like this. Like, you have depression because you do this and you won't get better until you do that. I think one of the classic ones is like, you can't be in a healthy relationship until you learn how to love yourself. And when you read that, you're like, oh shit, they're talking to me. So how I do it is like, I cut it off at the source. Like, if I feel like I'm comparing myself to people in a negative way, where I'm like, oh, I'm not as pretty as this person, maybe I should get Botox. I ask myself, did you want Botox? Or was this an idea that you had because you saw this person, and when you saw that person, you felt ugly? So I try to get it at the source and take it critically. If you're somebody, like, this is just an example, but if you're somebody who believes in plastic surgery and you've had your own interests and you've done your own research, like, yeah, sure. But if you're like, oh, I don't look like this girl and I don't know why. I don't know. I try to cut it off at the source, or at least analyze what it is. I do compare myself a lot to other people, definitely in their successes. And often I try to like understand, like, one thing I'm really bad with is I'll see someone online and I'm like, what do they do to afford this lifestyle? And I think that this is a negative thing, because like I said earlier in this stream, I'm happy with the life I live and I'm comfortable in the financial situation that I'm in. It's not the best. I don't have health insurance. But comparing myself to others doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, I'm so, like, I have everything I want. But it's true. Like, I'll see pictures and the first thing I ask is, what does this person do to sustain their living and do what they want to do? It's really bad. So gotta get out of the way. Do you have any daily rituals for self-care? I know it can be different for everybody, but I'm always looking for ways to take it day by day as positively as I can. Daily rituals for self-care so every day I try to load the dishwasher, because I feel like when the dishes are all piled up, it's like a reflection of something bad. And when I didn't give a fuck about my life or like what mattered to me, I didn't give a fuck that my house was a mess, that there were ants, or that the dishes were completely piled up and people would come into my house and see them, that John didn't have any clean bowls when I didn't give a fuck. Like, I think that just having no dishes in the sink, I feel better. And like, apply this to whatever you want. But even when I had roommates, or even when I lived by myself, or like even going to over somebody else's house, when the dishes are all piled up, you're kind of like, why didn't you clean them? I mean, like, yeah, right after dinner or the next day after dinner, but like 3 days later, let's get organized. So every morning when I wake up, I either like load the dishwasher or unload the dishwasher or clean like the pans and stuff by hand. I used to like take my coffee grinds like in the dripper and just leave them in the sink. Just like, who gives a fuck? So just like getting on top of that, clean dishes has been like, if the sink is empty, it means that I took time to take care of myself. I also make my bed every day. I never used to do that. I make my bed every day and at least once a week make sure that the bedding is clean. I never used to do this, but I just feel like when your shit is just all messed up and your blankets are all crazy, it just looks like you didn't have a good night's sleep. It feels really unwelcoming. If you have to pass into your room to like get something, I just feel like when the bed isn't made, it just like, it doesn't feel mature and organized. It just like represents chaos. And really all you have to do is like flatten out your comforter and prop up your pillows. So I just try to make my bed for self-care. And I know it's lagging, right? And one other thing I do is I make John's lunch every night. Like, I feel like being a good partner is something that makes me feel good. And it's something I neglected for a long time because I felt like John owed me something, or that like making him his lunch was like, making him his lunch was like so typical of me as a woman. But I actually feel really good that every day he takes a little sandwich that I made him. And every day I like on Sharpie, like draw a note on the wrapper of the sandwich. And every night he feeds the cats and I make his lunch. So I feel like it's a little bit self-care because every day he knows that I'm thinking of him. And I didn't used to make his lunch, and I didn't used to do that. And some nights when he came home really tired, he didn't have lunch and he would have to buy lunch at work. And I think his lunch break is not super long, so that would take time away from his time to relax. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I used to make his lunch for him a couple years ago and fell out of it because I was like, super feminist bitch. Make your own lunch if you want to eat so bad. And then I was like, I don't feel that way. Doing something special for him makes me feel really good. And I don't know if it's not like a selfish thing. Maybe it is, like, eat that lunch. But those are 3 things I do every day. Since I've been off social media, like, a little more. But, that's kind of like what I do for self-care. I make sure there's no dishes because that just makes me feel better. I always make my bed because it just makes my home feel more organized, even if it isn't, even if the hamper's overflowing. It's like, well, at least not everything is chaos. And, sorry. Yeah, I'm making John's lunch. He knows I care about him. And that makes me feel better. Do you mind talking about the not drinking coffee thing? Sure. So the day after my birthday and stuff, which is kind of like when everything fell to shit, I decided that I didn't want to drink coffee anymore. I felt like the bags under my eyes were really, really bad. And I just kind of thought that, like, I wasn't getting enough sleep, but I was keeping myself awake beyond my physical capacity by drinking coffee as much as I did. And I took a critical look at it, and I was like, I started drinking coffee when I was in college because I had to wake up really early in the morning and my commute was really long. And I would drink coffee as a way to, like, fill my stomach and, like, keep myself energized. Then I kept drinking coffee because I felt like it was like a lifestyle. Like, oh, like, look at me, like, I'm a writer and I drink coffee. And then I would drink coffee socially, either to, like, allow myself to be at the coffee shop for a few hours, which was where I would hang out, or to, like, meet up with friends at the coffee shop. And then, like, being a coffee drinker was, like, a social thing. Like, oh, I love coffee, this is part of my identity. But I really wasn't sure that I was getting a good night's sleep. And, you know, some people, there's so many studies about coffee, but some people say coffee leads to anxiety. And coffee, for me, like, I couldn't fall asleep until, like, midnight every night, and this became my new normal. I wanted to start waking up earlier so I could do more things and make better use of my time, because I would stay up all night on my phone and not wake up until 10 and then wonder why my videos weren't coming out until, like, 7 p.m. It's because I fucked around all morning. So I stopped drinking coffee in order to make myself more tired so that I would fall back into, like, an organic sleep schedule. And this is all just, like, hypothesis. But I can't even say if it's worked or not. I've been drinking green tea. I switched to green tea, and I drink a ton of green tea, like, all day. I have a box of it here. I have a box of it at work. And I kind of just, like, sip on it all day, which obviously has a caffeine content. Not as high as coffee. I kind of hope to get myself, well, I also enjoy that I'm drinking green tea because of the antioxidants and stuff. I feel like green tea is good for you. But I feel like I have noticed that the bags under my eyes have improved. If it's because I'm not staring at my phone, or if it's because I'm falling asleep on a more organic schedule, I don't know, but that's kind of why I stopped drinking coffee. Probably coming up on about a month, which is crazy because for 10 years, I drank coffee 3 times a day. And I loved coffee. And it's all I talked about. And it's the friends I made. And every morning, Ryan and I went and got coffee from the coffee shop and sat there. And I used to think it was, like, the most romantic and just, like, I don't know, just the best part of life to sit in front of the coffee shop with our iced coffees and talk about our day and, like, what we were doing and just have conversations and drink coffee together. And I just thought it was the antithesis of just, like, a life of leisure. And I used to think that that was better. And now, now that I don't drink coffee, I feel a little left out. For Mother's Day, we went and got brunch with John's family, and I ended up ordering a coffee because I felt weird. But it was, like, a Mexican coffee, so it was a little bit like dessert. But I don't know. I don't know if, like, if it's just a theory I'm working on or if it really has improved. I feel improvement, even if it's just, like, in my head. I definitely fall asleep when I go to sleep instead of just, like, laying in my bed forever, which I just felt like was a symptom of my life and just, like, a personality trait of mine. Like, I have a hard time falling asleep. And then everyone would be like, me too. And I'd be like, it's normal. So, I don't know. barista here and I'm finding myself in a coffee addiction. Yeah, the first week, 2 weeks, it was probably like the annoying vegan, but I was just telling people, hey, I'm not going to be drinking coffee anymore. And that helped because I feel like if it was a secret, I would do it. I would drink coffee so no one would find out that I wasn't trying to drink coffee. When I was a barista, I would drink coffee the whole day just because my coffee shop offered like a couple different blends throughout the day and throughout the month. So I would want to taste them so I could recommend them to people. But also like I would treat myself to shit like throughout the day. I would have like 3 soy iced lattes a day because I like deserved it. So if you can sneak decaf, I would try it. Or you could be like a tea snob. I'm running into like a lot of people who really like tea now that I drink tea, which I didn't really know was a subculture. I'm 21 on Tuesday and I feel silly for worrying about being behind because I know I'm still young, but many people around me are so ready for the future and I'm like, it's like I can tell you not to be worried about it, but until you realize it, it doesn't matter what people tell you. And I don't know if that's affirming for you. Let's see. At 22, I had moved back into my parents' attic when I was 21. And by 22, I was on Craigslist looking for apartments to move back to Philly. And I shared a bedroom with a girl. And that was my best life. You don't need to be on par with anyone you know. Because you'll get older and you'll meet younger people who are on par with you and you'll meet older people who are on par with you. When I was a shampoo girl at my last salon, the youngest shampoo girl was like 19 and the oldest was like 35. And now at my salon that I'm at, the youngest person is 25. So you really just meet people throughout your life and start to realize that age doesn't really matter. And it doesn't really, I mean, you always have to identify by your age, but you can make the most or the least of it that you want to. But I don't know. I didn't go to beauty school until I was 24. And some trivia, I really wanted my biological mother to go to beauty school too, because I thought it would give her tools that she could use in her life. So not only was I trying to convince her to go to beauty school, but I was going to beauty school as well. So, I mean, I don't know. I also want to learn a second language. So I keep thinking about going to community college. So you never stop evolving. Like, I've only had this thought for like 2 weeks, but now I really want to learn a second language. I think I just like have to figure out the courses and then ask Josie like if that's okay. But I think now that I'm only making 1 video a week, I can stretch myself a little more. But yeah, at 22, I didn't really have the motivation to do anything either. So don't worry about you. I'm in the sub chat right now. What language are you thinking? I'm not really sure. I want to learn a language so I can offer it to clients if they if they speak foreign language and then want to come to. Here's John calling me. I'm just gonna text him. I want to offer a language to clients. So I took French in school. So I think I could probably pick back up on French. I think I'd love to learn Spanish. I'm not sure if that would benefit a lot of women coming to my salon because there are many Spanish-speaking salons in Philadelphia. Unless they wanted to come to Barnett Fair and felt more comfortable speaking Spanish, I think that would be cool. John really wants to learn Spanish, and his birthday is in like 3 weeks, and I got him something for that. But it's kind of unrelated to me. He just works with a lot of speaking people, and he's always like practicing Spanish. So for his birthday, I got him some cool stuff. I feel like it should be a vlog. I don't think he'll see it. You guys better not tell him, but and of course I want to learn Japanese. Every time I get into an anime, I want to learn Japanese so bad. You guys probably relate, but you guys can probably relate that you want to learn Japanese. So in Pennsylvania, we all have to get passports by January. I think it would be a really good excuse for me to get my passport, one, because soon I'm going to be required by law, but to travel. John and I have never taken a vacation together, and like I'm supposed to be getting my security deposit back from my landlord soon. And that's like a chill chunk of change that I have like written off as not getting back ever. So I feel like it'll be a surplus, that episode of The Office. I was thinking about taking John and I on vacation. I was thinking VidCon until I saw Tana Mojo's video and I really felt for her. So not VidCon. So I think it would be cool if I practiced a foreign language for a little while and then like took John and I to another country and then like had some sort of footing on the language. I shampooed a girl who's going to Japan in November, and I remember thinking like I'd really love to go to Japan. Like I don't know, all my favorite YouTubers have gone there. For a minute I felt like every one of my favorite YouTubers was in Japan at the same time. I'd love to go. I don't know. I was thinking I would take John to New York and stay in the same hotel that H3H3 stayed at when they did the like YouTube summit. And then there's like this David Bowie museum thing happening right now. I need more research on it. I'd love to take him to that. I didn't know he was such a fan. But that might be our first vacation to New York. I would really love to learn sign language as well. I can't tell you how many times my grandmom has been like, you should learn sign language. I'd really love to do that. I think that would be particularly helpful for my job and offering like sign language like on my Instagram so you could come and see me at the salon. I just want to offer more. Like, I want to learn everything. I want to learn perms. And I mean, I know perms, but there's this new Arrojo style perm that's called the American Wave. And I really want to learn it. You guys know how I feel about perms. And if other stylists don't want to do perms, like I want to. And if other stylists only know one language, like it would be cool if I could offer like sign language and like offer just more of myself, you know? you should definitely go to Paris. So you might remember Livia. She was like my best friend in beauty school. She went to Paris with her sister with a Groupon. And the last time I checked, like I deleted Groupon, but the last time I checked, it was still an offer, like the same trip she took. So I think it would be really cool if like John and I went to Paris. Like imagine us like, I don't know, like dead up Philly kids like in Paris with me only knowing like a little bit of French. I think it would be so fun. But I don't know. That's what I've been thinking of. But I would love to learn a second language in a classroom setting because I think it would challenge me. I think if it was up to me, I might learn pronunciations wrong, or I might get lazy, or I might focus on what I'm good at. You know, these are kind of things I do, so who knows? So it's time for me to end this live stream, call John back, and yeah, I don't know. Thank you so much to everybody who's either participated in the side chat. I'm sorry that this was a live stream where I wanted to talk about something and not just interact with you guys. I would love to offer that in the future. I do like to do live streams when I have the house to myself, just because I tend to be loud and I don't want to be distracted. Like I think last time I had a live stream, John was watching The Walking Dead and I was like, is it any good? And I love hanging out with you guys. I hope by no means you felt like I was quitting. I didn't see any sort of feedback like that in the group chat. So I don't think that was the response, which is cool because I didn't want this to be like why I'm not quitting YouTube. Just food for thought. How is your experience on social media? Do you think it demands a lot from you, or do you feel like it's healthy? I felt like mine wasn't. So that's where I'm at. I'm trying to lean in a better direction, or at least offer more self-awareness to myself to benefit me, the relationships I have with my friends, the relationships I have with my city, my family, my partner. Just I want to be better because I don't think my life is too bad. So I don't know. It's just so painful to me that my worldview was so fucking skewed. And I'm happy I like snapped out of it. I wanted to share that with you guys. If you missed any part of this live stream, I'm hoping it is one cohesive thing. Maybe I'll just download it so it's one cohesive thing. I'm afraid it's going to be broken up into like 5 fucking things because of my internet. Sorry about the internet connection, and I love you guys. I posted a vlog today. I'm thinking about having a snapshot vlog summer series. I already have 2 videos to go up after this, so let me know how you feel about vlogs. I don't want to sound like I contradict myself, like, oh, social media, blah, 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 but here's a vlog. I'm still working out the kinks. Not everything I say is set in stone. There's wiggle room and finesse. And life is so fleeting. Life is so constant that maybe we don't have to set so many mile markers. Maybe we can just keep running and not taking a photo every day and not posting every thought we have and every opinion and every emotion and every feeling, every person we meet, every party we go to, every taxi we take. Like, maybe life in the moment is much more beautiful. So thanks for standing by me and listening to what I have to say. I love you guys. Always a pleasure. Thank you for joining me on my channel. Thank you for subscribing if you do. Welcome. This is me. Thank you if you are a supporter, if you are a fan, if you are a friend, if you follow me on Instagram, Twitter. I'm still making Instagram content. I'm just making it with more soul, with more impact, not disposable. I'm taking the best parts of my life and I'm celebrating them. I'm not just throwing out what I think people want to see. Remember to stay true to yourself and not to be someone that you just think is impressive. Let people be impressed with who you are.